Welcome, hello, and welcome. This is It's Predestined, the podcast, and I am Pri. And today we have a repeat guest, a very dear, family member to the show. I have Tim in the studio with me again. Applause. We are so thankful.
I should have brought up the Henny, yo. I should have brought up the Henny.
Gosh. This has been a Henny-filled summer for me. A whole lot of Henny. A whole lot of
I keep telling myself to stop, and then it just be like,
Henny. And it's really a conscious decision you have to make.
It is. Like, you look at the bottle, and you're like,
like, am I doing this? Like, if I'm doing this, then I gotta do this.
I gotta go to work tomorrow. Decisions are being made.
Listen, it's serious. So, how you been? How was your day? How was your week? What's going on with you?
I got offered a teaching position today.
Wow! I could absolutely... Well, what grade?
High school.
Ooh. I feel like you don't yell enough to teach high school.
That's so crazy. That's such a... You know what? I'm not even going to get into how I feel about that particular statement today. I mean, I also feel like you were about to say, oh yeah, I could totally see you as a teacher, because that's what like 8 people said. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to teach, then it just don't kind of work out, right?
Right,
like,
exactly.
In order for me to teach, that basically would mean that I can't go on vacation every month.
True, but hear me out. You get the whole summer off. You get the whole winter off.
You get 2 months off.
You can do a lot in 2 months.
If you don't sign up for any of the programs, and then you get a week for Christmas. I already get Christmas break.
True, but still.
There's no but
I
still.
don't know. I could definitely see you teaching.
The thing about teaching, right?
Well, instructing.
The thing about that is that you got to do it every day. Like, you got to be geared up to mold young minds.
No days off.
Every day, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've tutored before, I've coached before. I get to give those kids back. Like, whenever I'm, you know what I'm saying?
True.
So, I can't, like, go to Drake night and then roll in to first period. Like, all right, guys. I know people do that.
They do.
I've seen them.
I know them personally. Yeah. I know them personally.
I judge them as educators.
I mean, teachers are people. And I feel like when I was younger, I didn't think of my teachers as people. And then when I would see them out in public, it would be weird. They wouldn't even have to be doing anything. But just seeing them outside the classroom, it was like strange. Like, what you doing here? Like, you know? Like, even,
you like music? That's crazy.
Right. And just like regular things. Like, I know when I was dating a teacher or whatever, and we would be like at Penn's Landing or something, and like his kids would see him, and he'd be like, "Oh, Mr. What you doing here?" Like, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's something to explore.
No, I'm good. I'm super good.
You good?
I'm super good.
I mean, I feel like you wouldn't make as much as you make now anyway.
No, I definitely would be a pay raise.
Really?
Yeah, because I already have like tenure. So
I would start, right, because you're technically with the school district.
Yeah, it'd be like 15 G's.
More?
Yeah, as a base rate. Yeah.
And you don't think that's something to consider?
Not at all. Like, I'm super good. Oh. Like, 15 G's is a base rate, but not necessarily what I make a year.
With the overtime and stuff.
Yeah. And
there's no overtime for teachers.
Then that's when you like coach the lacrosse team, stuff of that nature.
True. After school programs and things like that. Which would be
stuff I would be interested in anyway. But again, it's just kind of like, like right now.
Is it a restriction of it?
Yeah, it's definitely like now I work all over the city. I would be working in one building. Now I leave my work, like, you know how people are like, yo, I gotta work on this project when I get to the crib while I'm watching Power, something of that nature.
Yeah.
I don't gotta do none of that.
Yeah, true.
Teachers
definitely, they work at work. They don't
so
stop working.
So
like
it's
plans and everything.
And then if you're a great teacher, you're individualizing your education per student. Yep. So it's just kind of like, yo,
it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I don't work now.
You know what I'm saying? You sure you want to say that? I don't work now.
I don't work. Like,
okay.
I tell people all the time I've been retired for like 13 years. So it's just, I don't view what I do as work on a day-to-day basis at all. So I've realized that, one, I would have to turn my selflessness meter up like super crazy for the youth. I would rather do
I feel like you're already pretty selfless. You're very selfless.
I get to do it on my own time, though.
That's true.
So, on some level, it's just like, oh, I want to do this, so I can and I will.
Right.
As opposed to, I have to do this in order to get a check. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I don't know if you saw the question I asked on my Insta story. It was like, when was the last time you did something for somebody, besides yourself?
I did see that.
That wasn't, friend or family.
Mm-hmm.
And mad people was like, oh, at work today, whatever. And it's just like, or yesterday, my boss, something. And the only person that I personally felt was legit was my one homie who said like a week ago. Because I knew she had to think about it and really be like, when did I put myself to the side and do something for someone else?
Another human being.
Yeah, I mean, and like people would say, oh, you know what, I'm a clinical psychologist, or no, I'm a social worker. And it's like, yeah, you do that kind of stuff.
For a check.
All the time, but you do it for a check.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just like, you on some level you have to. Like, you have to clock in. You know what I mean? You have to go do these things. And there are times where you go the extra mile, but your base is, yeah, man. That might be an unpopular opinion. Maybe. I don't know.
I understand it, but teachers do. They're teachers, but they're also psychologists, they're therapists,
the good ones,
social workers. Yeah, the good ones. And that's what sets apart a teacher that's there for a check and a good teacher.
We had that conversation before. Like that, when people talk about like teachers being underpaid, I'm like, the good teachers are severely underpaid.
Yeah. But
I also see people who are yelling at Lil Tamir every freaking day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're telling them something to the effect of, yo, you're gonna end up dead in jail, and it's like, yo, he's 9. Like, the kid's 9.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right. Yeah, man.
Well, so that was a decent day. It goes to show that, you're seen and valued out here. Yo, and people will think that you can make a difference in these lives.
Quite frankly, I think I'm too highly valued. Like, I'm not that vain, No, because people... I
know you're not, but still.
Because people would be like, yo, you would be a great teacher, you would be a great father. Like, oh, no.
I agree with the father part. I tell you that often.
It's a lot of perception, and I'm like, yo, I'm mad whack out here. Like, don't, please.
But you're really not, though.
Like, please don't try to, like, oh, I got to live up to this now every day. So much pressure.
It's fine. You're doing great. You're doing great.
And all I'm trying to do is be a better me. And if other people rock with whatever that means, then all right, I guess.
I definitely can relate to the better me. This week was it was a test of all the work that I've been doing. I feel like it was kind of like one of those Murphy Law weeks or whatever, when it's just like it feels like
anything bad that can happen.
Anything bad that can happen like is happening. It's just like, for real, like I'm out here doing my best. Like, why is the universe player hating? So the other day I got a ticket, $316, and I was doing so good.
I didn't mean to immediately laugh, but it's just so appropriate.
I was doing so good out here in these streets, and it just like shattered everything. But the good thing is that the cop wasn't a jerk, so I definitely will be, getting it dropped or whatever, but it was a pain. It was annoying. Yeah, for sure. Like, it could have went a lot of different ways. It could have went way, way worse than it did. I could be in jail. Or I would have been out by now. But I could have got locked up. Not that I was out here doing nothing crazy or nothing.
Come on, free break.
Right, I would have been out here with the Meeks.
Orange is the new black.
But yeah, oh yeah, and something else I've learned about myself recently is that I'm washed. I'm washed when it doesn't come to my peers. Like, my peers still think I'm the turn up queen. And like, they think that I'm real dope and decent. They think I be out here and I'm real dope and decent, and I just be out here like living my best Mixie Elliott life. But I just went on vacation with a 21-year-old.
Oh, it's different. Oh, it's different. That youth and enthusiasm, crazy.
Yo, I went on vacation with a 21-year-old. And the crazy thing about it is, it was probably the most chill 21-year-old I possibly could have been with. Like, my little brother is so chill and nonchalant. But he wanted to do mad activities. Like mad activities. Like, our first day there,
was this
we kayaked and jet skied on 2 different beaches in one day. I was exhausted.
Was this his first time like being somewhere?
The first time in a long time. Like, my mom took us places. Like, we went on family vacations and stuff, but...
Oh, it's different when you're 21, though. He just turned 21, too.
Yeah, it was for his birthday. Ooh. So, yeah.
My knees just started hurting.
Exactly. And every time we would finish something, it would be like, okay, what's next? What's next? A nap is next.
Anything
what you mean? Like, a nap is next. And it was his first time kind of like in that... We went to San Juan, so it was just like that kind of flow. You know what I mean? That's not like Circus in Vegas. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, I'm washed. I'm old. I'm going to just keep it with the 20-something and up.
It's not necessarily washed, right? It's just, because I was at a day party the other day, and I saw some friends, and it was just kind of like, yay, day party. You know, the day party energy is very different.
Yeah.
If you ever meet me, day party energy is very different. And I was talking to one of my homegirls after the fact, and she was just kind of like, yeah, the crowd was kind of young for her. And I remember being there, and you know, I'm about to be 34, so I was in the mix with like 25. 24, 26-year-olds and stuff. And I remember seeing them, but I didn't feel old in that moment. Like, and she did. Like, she felt it. And
I feel like unless you're like with them and like part of their entertainment, you really don't feel it.
The kids, as I refer to anybody younger than me, like, I enjoy them. Mm-hmm. I also know that
I enjoy them. That sounded old.
Yeah, no. I'm cool. I'm cool where I'm at. I'm cool with my age and whatnot. But it's just like the kids will for 37 minutes straight. Like I was at a SZA concert.
That's funny.
And the kids, like, doors open at 8:30. They in at 8:30. Hey. Hey,
you know,
hey, right?
The thing is, though, after a couple of drinks, all my snaps and everything on my Insta story is.
But they can't even drink yet though, cause that's the thing about it.
Yeah,
like that's just their energy. They like, yo, we just mixing and everything. True. And I'm just like, yo, so like I enjoy that, and I realized that whenever I'm around somebody who's somewhere for the first time, like that was my first time in a venue, but this is like their first time at the grown up party
in a venue.
You know what I'm saying?
In that type of thing, in that situation.
So I'm like, yo, this little I wish y'all could see me shoulder rolling right now, because I'm just like, yeah, all right, yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
because you can feel the excitement, like you can feel the energy.
I can feel the excitement, and for the most part, wherever I'm at, I'm not dealing with like the shenanigans. Like nobody fighting or nothing like that. They just happy to be there.
Right.
So it's just like, the age thing never bothers me. Like never. Now, I got a buddy who he was like, yo, I never wanted us to be the old guys in the party. You know what I mean? And for me, that's never... I mean, it might got something to do with it. Like, people tell me I look a little younger anyway. But
true. You still look like that picture when you had the little big head when you was little.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that I kind of grew into this thing. Because it could have went terrible.
You just grew into it like maybe a couple years ago.
I'm very aware that is the case.
Like just a couple years ago.
Like just a couple. I know. That's hard. That's why I was in the gym. I was like, maybe if I get some muscles, you know what I'm saying,
balance this thing
I
out.
can just offset. You know what I mean, maybe gravity won't affect me the same way and have me tipping in certain directions.
Funny. Did you have trouble like learning how to walk?
Not to my knowledge. What I did have trouble with was like people pounding my head like a basketball, and then my arms and legs just flailing. Oh no, put me down, no.
Hey, yo, that's
you know what I mean? So it was just, I think I always had fairly good balance, but that's because my pop put me into gymnastics really early on too.
To balance it all out.
Yeah. Like I don't think that was a purposeful act by him, but yeah,
it ended up. You know,
it
everything happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Praise him. God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good. Time.
But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so have you heard about, well, of course you've heard about it. Everybody's heard about it. The whole country cooking situation.
I have not heard about it.
You have not heard about it?
I saw something about this today, but I didn't investigate.
Well, allegedly. Sod.
That. Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Lady that had the camels.
Yeah, the lady with the camels, the one that did the proms for the kids, the one that did the book bag stuff, and the Christmas for the kids, and
what happened? Like, I know she got accused of fraud.
Yeah, so allegedly,
so we don't get sued.
Exactly, and I mean, allegedly.
You ain't gonna get nothing from me anyway. What you gonna get
right,
this? You gonna get student loan debt?
That's all I got for you. So allegedly, they're saying that she committed Social Security disability fraud or whatever.
Oh, she was getting a good check.
That she collected $37,000, but she was actually working and able to work and stuff like that. And yeah, so now they're after her. And the thing is, I was a intern for Social Security for like 3 years. And what I know is, like, if you're sick and, like, a vocational expert can come in and say that this person is sick enough to not be able to work, to not have a vocation, you're eligible to collect money. And supposedly, allegedly, she was sick. Like, she had cancer, she was having strokes, she was having, seizures and stuff like that. So it would have made her eligible. And I just feel like it was disappointing to see how people just, like, was so ready to drag her without even knowing any details.
I mean,
it's like, it doesn't, the stories don't say, like, how long a period of time that the money was given, or like when it was given, or anything. You know
what the wild part is? Like, talking about how ready people were to, like, drag. I didn't see any of that. Like, when I saw what I saw from my timelines was people talking about putting up her bail money. Like, people were talking about she was a modern day Robin Hood.
I saw some of that too. It was a mixture.
I didn't have a mixture at all. But that's what I was about to get at. Like, it's all about how you tailor your social media experience.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even when, like, I first caught wind of the lady, like, with the proms and everything like that, like, it was just all this positive stuff. Like, it was for the most part. But those are the kinds of people I follow. And I know that it can...
Well, you follow like 100 people, though.
That's for a reason.
That's I feel like you know them all personally.
No, I don't know everybody personally. Matter of fact, I would say I probably don't know 80%.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's folks out here, like, not to sound wild, but it's like, yo, if I know you in real life, like, why? Like, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
I mean, yes, but also just keeping up, because we're older now. We don't see each other that often.
I don't got that. Like, it's just crazy. Like, the people that I've always wanted to keep up with, I still keep up with.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I
Like, pretty much all of them. So it's just kind of like, yo, and it's no beef. It's just like everybody else is just kind of like, yo, when I see you, I see you. It's love.
Right.
And then we go to our respective corners.
Yeah, well, I still have a mixture. So
God bless, man. I don't know.
It's mostly good. It's mostly positive. But there are some people, you know what I mean, that kind of creep in or whatever.
That's when I hit the crazy unfollow. That's what that happened too. Like, because it wasn't always that. Like, I don't know if you remember, but at one point on Twitter, I was following like 600 people. And it started with Trayvon Martin and discussions about like black on black crime and everything else. And then it continued with Mike Brown, you know, and now it's like 75. Because it's like, all you got to do is show me one time what type time you be on. And I'm going to be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm like that with like fighting videos and like certain stuff. Like, if you always put in like some sexually explicit stuff, like, first of all, I must report you as fake.
Shout out to In Stan We Trust.
And then, like, I'm going.
We can see what you like. We can see the tweets that you like.
Oh shoot, he putting you out there. Shay too cute too.
Hey.
Yeah. And we putting him out there. It's like, sorry, Shay. But yeah, so yeah, I saw a mixture. It was like people like kind of rejoicing in her fall, and I like never thought that
people
was
be
something
haters,
that
yo.
People really be like legit haters. Like, what's the bad?
And
like, how did this woman negatively affect you that you rejoicing, or you think that it's funny, or you think that you happy that she could possibly do jail time?
Do you got something on that list about the charity with the Louboutins?
No.
All right, so
wait, did you call them Louis Vuitton?
I don't know what I called them. Obviously, they're out my pay grade. So, like, we were at the mall, like in that section.
Okay.
And I'm just like, yo, I would never spend money on this. Like, I would never. Like, I realized that like the stuff that I value doesn't cost money.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like,
look at that. That's real wealth right there.
No, I ain't even want to get all super philosophical with it.
That's real wealth.
But
I'm gonna get philosophical for you.
But my thing is like, yo, like I had like just come back from Barcelona and I was trekking up a mountain in like my Chucks, and I'm like, I would never do that in these. Word. Like, they're $500. Like where would I wear these? Where would I wear? That's what I was thinking about. Like,
right.
If I go, when I'm in a club, more often than not, I'm in the mix.
And somebody's stepping on you.
The joint. So it's just kind of like, yo, like,
who wants to be stressed out about getting their shoes stepped on?
And I guess people that like buy them, like, don't worry about it. Like, it's not a stress thing. You know what I mean? But I don't, like, because I guess they can afford it like that. But it's just kind of like, yo, I just don't. I don't see the point.
I don't see the purpose.
Yeah, I don't see the point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But
I'll spend money on experiences before I spend money on like a material thing.
Well, that's the thing about it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as like the only things that I spend money on are like, that's like you said, experiences. Like, that's what's more important to me. But it's not necessarily like, yo, I don't get it. But it's just kind of like, it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking nobody. Yeah, but for me.
The thing I was about to get at was like, a rapper was at a charity event and he gave like 100 pairs of those sneakers.
Louboutins?
Yeah, to the youth.
And
people were like, yo, he could have gave, 1,000 kids sneakers and book bags or whatever. And I'm just like, but that's not what he wanted to do though.
Right, it's his money.
It's his money. And it's just like, how you clocking it, like how somebody else gave to charity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted to, maybe these kids can't afford it and now they have something that they go, well, you set them up to get robbed. I'm like, well, if you gave them a laptop.
Right.
Or a bike.
It didn't matter what he gave them.
It doesn't matter. Like, they can always get robbed. They can always be drawing attention to this new whatever it is that they can get robbed for.
But it also, it serves as kind of like, not a standard, but it's just like they know they can have something like this.
Yeah, like, if you so choose, if one day,
if I want this, like, I can achieve this. Like, this is something that's achievable.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, why does it have to be that? Like, why wouldn't you give them something? And it's just like, come on, man. Like, that's where I get at where, like, sometimes I don't even know if people know that they're haters.
Right.
Like,
coin clocking.
It's
like,
just
why are you
negativity.
worried about somebody else's coin?
It's just, how do you come away from somebody giving 100 strange kids sneakers with negativity?
Right.
Yeah,
like, how dare he give them
like,
how dare you give these poor kids sneakers?
He should have gave them something else. He should have gave them something cheaper, or you could have helped more kids. And it's like, what? Like, you could have helped more kids. It's crazy. like, okay,
well, you go do that. You go give the charity the way that you see fit, and he gave him the way he saw fit. Yeah, like, that's what it really comes down to. But yeah, listen, I hope that everything works out for the best for Saudi. Seriously, this crab in a barrel thing is whack.
I've seen a few people refer to it like that too, and the wild part about that is again, that's not something I ever really experienced in Philadelphia. Like, I know people say that all the time, like, yo, it's that crab in the barrel mentality with Philly.
I'm not even just saying Philly. I'm just saying in general. Period. Like, you can go on Shade Room and see
it. like for me, it's just like, yo, I never experienced that because, like, those just aren't people I'm ever around. And then when I see it, it's just like, oh, I know that it's the hate, and I'm just not gonna. I ain't tough. I guess maybe I feel like I'm Teflon.
No, because I was thinking about if I wanted to talk about Nicki and Safari, but I really kind of don't.
Yo, shout
like,
out.
Nicki's so wild.
I mean, the most important thing that I got out of that is that you can pay 10 G's and get your hairline back.
I feel like 10 G's is kind of pricey though.
No, that's a solid investment, especially in this economy. Like,
really?
Yeah.
You would pay for a hairline?
Absolutely. Like, would I pay for? No,
okay.
I would not.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll just ball this joint out when it gets a little eroded. But
when it get a little shaky.
But if you had 10 G's and you were a public figure, like, yeah, like, go ahead. Like, LeBron could have been got that joint.
Yeah, I'm confused. Like, I don't understand why he didn't.
Like, maybe it's just you gotta wait a certain time or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are.
He got groomed the scalp correctly.
Yeah. I don't know what the
rules. So it'll be a successful transplant.
Yo, he got this whole series that's involved in, like, barbershop talk, and I'm like, yo, come on, son.
That's funny. Like, I wonder if it's like real hair, like does it grow from your scalp?
The series is flames. Yeah, because they said it. I think Tiger got that joint too.
Oh wow! And then Tiger got like a jerry curl.
And former NFL player Brian Urlacher, he was completely bald. Like, that's what he was known for.
And now he got waves.
And now he got like white ball. He got the white ball. He got like the full swoop. Just showed up at the interview one day, like, hey.
Here I am.
Yeah, I feel
wait, he's white.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like you gotta ease that in though. Like, you gotta catch it and then just be like, all right, here we go.
Right.
I mean, it's like when Jones pop up with the fake hips and stuff. You're like, let me here.
Like, right. Like, that wasn't there before.
He was in DR Wallen? All right.
Right. Well, I feel like a fake hairline is a lot, well, unless you bald, is a lot less kind of noticeable than how these butts be looking.
I mean, if you had, like, the full Sherman Hemsley and then you just, like, come back with waves and whatnot, then it's a little like, you son, like, what's going on here? But
like,
and I'm trying to think. And then people was, one of the things I love most about Twitter is celebrity beef.
Really?
Yeah. Because while I don't necessarily like fully engage, I like that it's there
to keep them human.
Yeah,
keep them human and petty.
Like, that's what makes Twitter dope, is that it's like Jackie Harry tweeted me one time. You know what I mean? Like, I said something. I was like, yo, she used to be nasty on 227. And she was like, used to. And I'm like, oh. Hey, auntie.
Hey,
I'm all right. I see what you want. You know what I mean?
She said, what's that? She about to hop in your DMs. You wouldn't know what to do.
I'm out here. Been out here with my own VH1.
Hey, yeah.
My own VH1 series. Living the dream.
living the dream.
By the pool with abs out. At
all times. Hey.
All times. No,
you ever have a sugar mama? You ever been a sugar baby?
Yeah. A while ago.
Is that like years?
When I was still young. I mean, I ain't.
You
I
are
mean,
young.
I mean, no. When I was like young and sexy. Now I'm young and seasoned. I used to be sexy out here. I ain't that no more.
Oh, that's funny.
I ain't that no more. I was significantly more sexy back in the day. But yeah, it was like 23. She was like 33, 34.
Oh, that's not really. She was young.
I mean, she was a decade older than me.
I mean, yeah, true. But
oh, you thinking like somebody that got like AARP benefits or something like that?
I mean, no. I mean, I guess I'm thinking in the terms of like you now. I guess you would date like a 40-something-year-old, 50-something-year-old. Yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing. All right, so let me see. Talking about that, right? When I was like 22, I was dating. When they used to always hit me with that, you so mature for your age, cause I like the Isley Brothers. Like, get out of here. Cause I like wearing hard bottom shoes back then. Like little Predator Jones, man. You so mature for your age. I like it. Yeah.
We definitely been talking about the young joints in my group chats. Clearly, so allegedly, the young joints, they just easier to deal with.
And I used to I put like this. How old was I? I think I was like 26, and young lady was like 21. And I just remember being tired. Like not like like everything you talking about that like enthusiasm and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you don't never turn down, You don't want to just take this nap.
That's
no,
funny.
All right, but.
I feel that too, though, because even when, like, I talk to people that are a little older than me or whatever, they're like, oh, you going out again.
Yeah, like, it's Tuesday, though. Like,
what? Right, like, oh, again?
Yeah.
You was just out yesterday.
They got this other thing going on. Yeah, like I'm
young
my best life,
and single, out here, living. Call me Nixie Elliott.
But she actually reached out to me not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah, but she was fronting,
What you mean she was fronting?
I mean, like, we set up a time to meet, because I hadn't seen her in a long time, but she always, like, she would text me, like, once or twice a year on some, like, what's up with you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, come on, like, we'll meet at this cafe, it's around the corner, blah, blah, blah. And then she didn't show. And she hasn't texted me since.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Yeah, like, she was fronting.
It might have been like a moment of weakness she was having, like, oh, let me see that. And then it came to her sense, it's like, no, that's not what I need to do. We all have those.
The thing about that, too, is what I've always said that I used to say that women dating older men, it will ruin them. And then men dating older women will make them better. But a lot of that was before I was recognizing some of the predatory ways of these older folks. Like, she wants to mold you, right? Like, that's what that is. She wants to mold you. I'm going to expose you to some things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Have you open. Like a can of pick.
I'm going to teach you. And what that means, that tends to work out better for young men, but it's still predatory activity.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And
I feel like when it's the other way around, it's more like, I got this young girl.
Yeah, and I can do whatever.
I feel like it's probably the same way with the older women and the younger guys,
I can do whatever, but like I said, like with older women, it tends to be more like, I'm going to show you how to cook. You know what I mean? Or I'm just going to put you on maybe
like some
you need
practical
to go to
life skills.
Maybe you need to go to the doctor more. It just be stuff because that's how it ends up a lot of times anyway. You know what I mean? So now you're just talking about like an older woman who's already maybe a little more comfortable in who she is and whatnot. So and now it's like either all she wants from you is one thing, or she wants to mold you into being what she needs. And having been in that position a few different times, I'm not mad about it at this point in my life, but I also recognize very much what that is. And that's why I'd be like, I would like 4. I used to say 5 years, like max, either way. But now it's like 3 or 4.
Really? I've never really dated younger than me, but I would probably date like a 25-year-old. But then the other way, I would probably date like
I know
a 40-year-old.
I know you would.
What?
I know that doesn't shock me at all.
That I would date a 40-year-old?
Yeah. Yeah. I almost shouted out my sister. You know what I mean? But we're not gonna do that today.
Last time she was like, "Y'all in that joint giving away all the family secrets." I was like,
Why would you date somebody older than you? That much older than you?
I mean, the thought in my mind would be this, like, stability, like they chilling now, they not wilding out here no more.
They are.
I mean, yeah, that's the thought. That's what you would think. That's what you would expect. That might not be the reality.
Crazy.
That might not be the reality, but you would think.
They just can't run as much because they got arthritis. That's all it is, yo. That's all it is, man. That's what all it comes down to. Like, all of that, like, you would think, it's going to be a certain amount of maturity.
But it's, yeah.
There don't be none of that, yo.
No.
These boys still be out here wilding.
Wilding.
If anything, everybody is just more
Who's
set in their ways.
Wilding?
They
Who's
just
not wilding? Riddle me that. Who is not wilding out here? If you're not wilding, at its pre_destined. Like, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
While I'm here, let me just put myself out there real quick.
I'm just playing. Still ideas. Yeah. Speaking of wilding.
I know. Meanwhile, it's a theme today. It's a theme of oldness. Meanwhile, they be putting like stuff I grew up on throwback.
Yeah.
Oh, we gonna play this? Yo.
No. When's the last time you heard this?
Yeah,
I be like, oh, no. I was in my prime.
Is that Get Rich or Die Trying? What?
I think I'm in my prime now. What is the prime?
I guess.
What is your prime?
When everything's in order. When you feel that you're at your physical, mental, and spiritual best.
Oh, I ain't getting my prime yet. Maybe I didn't hit my prime yet.
There you go. I mean,
I don't know.
Welcome.
Oh, man.
Welcome.
Dang. Really? I don't know.
What else
Maybe
would it be?
Your prime is like when you feel like you're living your optimal best life. And if we're saying optimal best life, I feel like I'm living my optimal best life. I don't have everything together though, but I feel like I'm living my optimal best life.
That's
like
the same thing I said. You just reworded it to make you feel comfortable.
Like in my mom's words, like you take what you have and you do with it what you can.
Yeah.
And that feels like that's what I do.
Listen, y'all. I mean, to each his own.
No, we said different things though.
We said the same thing. You just remixed it.
No, it's different.
I feel like when you at your optimal best, all right.
when you feel like you living your optimal best life, right. That's right.
Is that how you feel?
I do.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally.
Yeah.
All right. No. I seen the hezzy. I wish y'all could have seen the hezzy. It was like
the thing is, I'm still doing a lot of work, and there's always going to be work to do. You know what I mean? But I feel like right now, I feel like this is the best me that I've ever been.
That's different.
That's different?
Yeah. I guess prime is, again, it's one of them things where it's just like I can look at a time when I was at my physical best. I know exactly when that was.
Okay.
Where I had everything in order. And, when that was, what changed, and how I can get as close as possible to that. But I also know that I'm not going to run a 6-minute mile anymore. Okay. I'm just not. You know what I mean? Like,
you could if you really wanted to. Your knees are hurt the next day.
It's going, but again, that's the difference. That's where the prime.
You have to pull out your tiger bone.
That's where the icy hot going to be ever
icy
flowing.
Hot, Celebrex. You're going to have to pull out all the big guns.
That's the difference. And it's just kind of like, all right, I can get close to some of that. But as we get older, I mean, you can be the best that you are at your given age. You know what I mean? You can get better at certain things.
Yeah,
but,
I feel like this year has been like for sure a year of exploration. That's why I say that I feel like I'm the best version of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've done things that I never thought I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Like even as far as like my little 40-day bid of veganism and plant-based eating,
Mm-hmm.
like that was major for me. Like it was small, but it was major because
40 days is not small. It's long. That's long enough to build a habit.
Yeah, exactly. But it did a lot of things. I learned a whole lot about myself in those 40 days. I was more disciplined than I feel like I've ever been. Like, it showed me things that I'm capable of doing that I would have never even tried.
When you're on dietary restrictions for that long, it'll change your life.
And I feel like it did. It definitely was a switch.
I tell people that all the time. Like, I was doing that juice detox for like 34 days.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Like,
straight?
Yeah. It was like I took, for real, I was going to go longer. And then...
Wait. Explain the juice detox that you did. Because if you're doing the one that I'm thinking of, that's
the one
wild.
with the yogurt. It's like all you have to eat, quote unquote, eat, is yogurt, peanut butter, milkshakes, 100% juice, water. I'm trying to think, and applesauce.
So like no solids.
No solid. Just a liquid diet.
For how many days?
34.
I don't know if I'm built for that.
It was glorious.
Really?
Yeah, it really was. Like, cause you get to a point where you don't even crave. Like when I was done, and the only reason I stopped doing it is because I started like lifting heavy again.
Okay.
And my body, I would have had to eat like a jar of peanut butter a day.
Okay.
To try
to sustain it.
Because it was so like out of all of that, you're supposed to have like it's supposed to, but it's supposed to be around like a 2,000 calorie diet, right?
Right.
So I was getting like 1,800 calories out of all of that, but I was burning like 3,000 a day.
Okay.
Because I would do stuff like I got a physical gig, then I would hoop for like an hour or two, or take a spin class for an hour.
I hate spin class.
I love spin class.
I'll never do another one.
It's all about the music.
The seats are too hard. No, it's
That's
not
what
about the
people
music. It's about the seats.
People always got seat issues. I've never had them.
They hurt so bad. They're made for white people because their butts are like paper. They're not for us.
It's not bigotry at all.
Oh, my bad. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying, that's the most uncomfortable feeling.
Shout out to random eugenics.
Ever. Like, it hurts.
Like
I was sore for a week. Like I was walking like a cowboy.
I just got invited to like Soul Cycle, and I was thinking about doing it.
I've heard about that.
It's all about the music, yo. But
the music didn't matter to me. It hurt.
You just
It hurt.
Yeah, but it was like I would do a spin class, then I would like lift weights for like an hour, hour and a half, and then sometimes I would still have so much energy that I would just like jog 2 miles. Like that was like just more cardio based stuff, a lot of yoga, thing like that. So my man got married, so I took 2 days off for the bachelor party and the wedding, and then I was going to hop back onto it, and I tried, and it was just like, yo, if I lift like this, if I lift like I want to, I'm not going to be able to sustain with juice. Like I'm gonna have to. The amount of things. If you ever see, because there are like vegan power lifters, like Olympians and stuff.
Really.
And if you ever see the amount of things that they have to consume, it's just ridiculous, yo. It's just ridiculous. And I was not prepared to do that.
Yeah, that sounds miserable.
It was great.
Really.
I say that with confidence. Like it really was. Like because. I'm sure you noticed with the vegan thing, like you kind of detach yourself from
definitely. But I still got to eat really good though.
Yeah, but it's like
I ate really, really good.
Everything's not wrapped around food as much.
Right. It definitely changed my relationship with food.
Yeah.
It for sure changed my relationship with food. I feel like some days, especially like my busy days, it was more about eating to live than. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It being about just devouring food or like it having to be like good food. Like some days it was Brussels sprouts for dinner.
And knowing what being hungry actually means.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Very true.
So it was just like I said, I've never felt that good physically than when I was on that, and I would have continued it had I been able to get to my physical goals. Because at the time I was trying to deadlift like 500 pounds, and I was trying to
really.
Yeah, I was already at like 405.
That's wild.
And I was benching maybe like 270. That's why I was like I was unusually strong because I didn't like.
Right. I mean, because if people would look at you, they wouldn't expect.
Like I remember being at the gym and dudes like, "Yo, if you lift that, I will be really impressed." And I kind of did it easy, and he was like, "Yo, that's crazy." And it's because I'm like 185, but I'm slim, but it's also, I mean, it has its drawbacks too. It had its drawbacks. Like when you're just kind of like brolic and a lady is surprised. It's like, oh, wait.
Right.
He just lifted me up like it was nothing. And it's like, yeah.
Talking about kind of like young versus old, well, not even young versus old. The other day, I kind of noticed, it's like, so I'm 28, you're 34. But I feel like you go to so many weddings. And I feel like even the people that I know that kind of just turned 30, they go to so many weddings. And like, I've been to weddings, but nope.
We might as well do
it. And I think it's such a crazy like switch, like from 20s versus 30s, like just people making those leaps in like the marriage and stuff.
People, the weddings that I've been to, these people have been together for like years though, like years. Like even my man, I was just at the wedding. He posted something on Instagram, and he was talking about how they actually like grew up like 3 miles away, but they didn't like really meet each other until college.
Oh,
and
wow.
So we talking about have known each other since college, and now they're like 30, 31, and they just got married. Like they've been together for the majority of the time that I've known them. So it's just kind of like we kind of crashed that thing too, just an FYI. Like,
oh, y'all the wedding crashers now?
A little bit. Like, cause he was like, yo, he was like, no, just come through. Like, just come through the reception. And I was like, all right.
That's dope.
We did. And
That's
then we
dope.
did. And we had a
y'all
ball.
was prepared. Y'all all looked like y'all was supposed to be there. Y'all was fly.
It was definitely just me and Stan.
Oh, okay.
No, like, cause him and some of my other homies, they all went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, like, I've probably been, I want to say at least 4 weddings a year since I've been 30.
Weddings are mad expensive.
I didn't know.
Going to weddings is mad expensive. Being in a wedding is
mad
expensive.
My man asked me to be in it, and I said no.
It's a financial commitment.
I said I'm good. Because the other thing was, and then the crazy part about it is that one of my other homies, like I worked my way up to being in the wedding. Like a couple years ago, I said something to him about it, and he was like, "Nah, you don't make the cut." And I was like, "All right," but now it's like, "Yo, no, you definitely be in that joint." I'm like, "No, I can't do that. 'Cause I just wasn't in his wedding. I can't be in your joint now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna wear my own suit, and I'll be in the mix."
Right.
I mean, I wanted to do a toast. It's been on my goals for 2018 to give an elaborate wedding toast.
And elaborate it will be. I don't know.
Man,
you mad chatty.
I be having raps.
You'll have them people sitting there for an hour.
No. You know what I did? I ended up that caption on my Instagram. Like that's what that was. That was gonna be my toast. Yeah, I mean.
Wait, did I see that? I don't know if I saw.
You probably did. It said something like, to friends, family, to love, to two souls coming together as one, and all of that being represented by this event. Salud. It was something like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's touching. I felt that.
You just and then you drank all the honey.
Facts. Listen, I better not ever get invited to a wedding with a cash bar. That's foul.
I feel like it's violence.
I feel like that's disrespectful to your guests.
It's violence. I mean, my homie, like, I apologized, actually, to, like, several homies, because I was out here getting like thoughtful gifts. Like I gave I saw my man and his wife like dancing at some other wedding, and it was terrible. Like they were terrible. They were trying to do.
What, you got them lessons?
Now I got them lessons. And like my other homie, I got him like my grandfather gave me this coin. So I gave him the coin, you know.
Oh, that's deep.
Wishing him, you know, wealth and whatever. That was kind of my MO. And then somebody told me that they joint cost like 50 G's. And I was like, oh, I got to give you money. Like, oh, my bad. I ain't know. You know what I mean? Because I'm talking about like...
$50,000? Wait a minute.
Yeah. 50 G's.
$50,000.
50,000. And I was just like, oh my God.
$50,000.
Like, yeah. Even the low joint was like 20. Even one of the lower joints was like 20. So I'm just like, oh, I got to give y'all money. Oh. I'm out here trying to be sentimental.
$50,000. That had to be 90K Dino.
But it's just so crazy, yo. It's just so crazy. It's just so crazy, yo. Like, stuff costs, yo. Stuff costs. And it looked like it. I mean, it was like 500 people at that joint.
Whew.
But, yeah, it's just, it definitely, like, folks, personally, I said something, like, as much as you and other people be like, yo, so when you settling down?
I gave up on that. I haven't asked you that in a very long time.
You asked me like 2 weeks ago.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
It was amongst the kid questions. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, well, that's different.
Is it? All right. I didn't know that. I didn't
that's
know
different. That was me saying that...
I can have babies out of wedlock? All right.
No.
Well...
No, you can't. I was just making a statement that, you know... No, because you told me that you didn't want kids. And I was upset. I was disappointed. So that's what that was. It wasn't like when you want to have kids. It was like it came up and you were like, you don't want kids. And I was like, excuse me? You gonna have some kids? Like, what do you mean? Like, what? No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, like, as much as people say all of that to me, more and more.
I feel like that would be selfish.
What?
You not having kids.
That's so crazy.
You're not giving the world a little big head Timberly. The world deserves.
Or Timberland and Magoo.
Or twins. Timberland and Magoo. Exactly.
But, nah, like, I mean, my whole thing is people tend not to ask me if I'm happy. Like...
Well, I know that you curate your happiness. So I don't really worry about that with you too much. Because I know what you know how to do the work to get there, even if, you know what I mean, it's lacking a little bit.
Like, but that's more like the first thing people ask you. So when you gonna settle down? So when are you gonna have? Because that's the regular thing to do, I guess. With people of my age, like you said, it's a bunch of weddings, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm there, I'm just enjoying it. Like I don't never be like, oh, I can't wait to have mine. Like not never.
Really?
Never. Because
a beautiful wedding will definitely have me in my feelings. Just like seeing a cute kid.
Well,
even though I don't want kids.
I've been having this conversation a lot, right? And it's like, when I'm at the wedding and I see these two, and they cutting the cake, and my man tearing up and he danced with his mom, and I'm like, yo, this is beautiful. Like, this is so dope. You know what I mean? For them.
For them.
For them. Like, I'm so happy for them. You know what I mean? And, like, the idea of settling down. Like, what does that mean to you? When somebody says settle down, what does that mean to you?
Marriage and kids.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means to kind of give up that selfishness and like just not being worried about nobody else and really kind of like sharing your life with these other people, sharing your life with your spouse and these little people that y'all make together and kind of transforming your life and kind of, you know what I mean, committing it to them.
The first thing that you said was giving up, right?
Yeah.
And that's always what I think about. Because that's what people view. They view it as giving up. And I don't think it should be
But
that
you're
at all.
also gaining. I
think it's nothing but gain. It should be nothing but gain. I don't think about sacrifice at all. Like, we talked about that before.
Sacrifice isn't always a bad thing.
Then why would we call it sacrifice?
Well...
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, but the thing is, I know, like, sacrifice, it feels bad in the moment, but I know from personal experience, just life in general, that it always turns out to be something better. Like, I'll give something up, and I always get something better. It's never been a time where I've given something up and didn't.
In the moment, then?
Because you don't want to give stuff up.
If you know that eventually you're going to get to something better, then
but we don't think like that. A lot of times we don't think big
you just
picture.
Said it out
we don't
loud.
think long term. Yeah, when I'm sitting here talking about it, yeah, I'm thinking big picture. But in the moment, when I actually have to give something up that I want in the moment, it's like, no, I don't want to.
Here go my thing, right? When I think of marriage, when I think of, being with one woman for, well, even if it's one woman, I don't know. Like, I think about polyamory sometimes too. But
what?
You want the definition or what?
Whole nother show. Just
all right.
All right. Just go.
No, because sometimes
a whole nother show.
Because sometimes it's just like, would it be easier to, be one thing to multiple people instead of everything to one person? But that's like you said. All right. So if it's me and this one woman for the rest of our lives, I don't necessarily think of it as sacrifice. I think of it as sharing everything that I already have. Like, I don't, like when you talk about, I'm selfless or whatever, like I really never see like sharing as sacrifice. Like, it's not the same thing to me. It's like, this is what I was going to do anyway, and now you're here to be with me when I do that.
Okay,
like, there's no, so it's just sharing a journey for the rest of our lives. And then whatever you were going to do, now I'm here with you to enjoy it with you. Like, so I'm constantly either gaining a partner in crime or gaining an experience that I wouldn't have gained without that person.
That's dope. I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that take, and I agree.
But, like, as far as, like, settling down, when people talk about, like, settling down, have kids, and it's like they stop being whoever they were because of sacrifice.
I don't think you have to stop being who you were, though.
What is what I'm talking about?
Like, for me, if I ever get married, no, you know what? When I get married one day, when I get married one day, oh, dang, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I want us to have at least 2 or 3 years, like, with just us, like, no kids. Like, I don't want to get married and then immediately have kids. I definitely don't want to have kids before I get married.
People say that all the time.
But I definitely want to have time, just, like, us, before, like, kids. Because kids change things.
They do.
Kids change things.
But so does marriage. It's like, marriage changes in that now, instead of just getting home, you have to check in. Mm-hmm. And you have to check in because you don't want that person to worry.
True. Like, but that's what I was saying about, like, having to worry about somebody. Not just doing your own thing and navigating this world and moving through this world, not having to, like, be accountable to anybody.
Well, that's the thing about it. The accountability part doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like, none of that bothers me. What bothers me is the idea of the death of who I am, because I like me. I love me some me. So
we know. But why do you feel like you would have to be a different person, though?
I don't. I'm saying, like, that's what happens with people all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you were, if you were, like, this person who goes out and does this and does that, and then all of a sudden you're like, yo, I'm a wife, I have to be a homebody now.
But,
you know what I mean? Like, that's what people do. People do that all the time.
I don't believe that.
Or it's just like, no, I gotta run errands with my wife today. This is not something I would normally do, but now I gotta go do this with my wife. And it's just this constant, this is what I would rather do, but now I'm doing this for that. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I see people and discuss marriage with folks, like, that's the way that they see things. And it's just kind of like, no, I definitely don't want that. Like, the settling down, like, right now, it's Center City Sips today, right? So people going to Sips because they're single, because they out there looking for something. But if Some people.
Okay, I would say.
Some people, right? Because it's like, yo, but other people, they down there with their wife. They down there with their husband. Now, if you're that person, that's where I'm at. I'm like, yo, come on, let's go to Sips today. You know what I mean? Like, let's go to this day party. Like, some people, they only at the day party because they single. That's the only reason that they're there. They don't enjoy any part of the singleness. They just like, yo, this is what I do because I don't have anybody else to do this with. Like, I can't wait to find this person so I could just chill off of all of that. And that's when you say settle down, that's what I think of.
Ooh, you talking about me?
I'm talking about a plethora of people.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about because
I start feeling attacked.
No, but that's what I'm saying because I hear it all the time.
Like I'm just like I legit have fun, but I mean really that does resonate. It does resonate
hear it all the time.
You know what I mean?
And it's just like, yo, for real. If I had a wife, we gonna both be dancing at this joint. Yeah. Like that's what I like. There's nothing that I do right now that would change if I had a wife. It just would be, yo, you with me. That's where I'm at in life. So it's just kind of like, but it's not like that for, like, some people move different when they single and they move different when they in a relationship. And for me, I move the same way all the time.
I feel that.
So it's just kind of like, when people talk about, settling down or whatever, it's like, what your idea of that isn't the same for me. Like, I'm not trying to move to the suburbs.
Not trying to get a minivan.
I'm not trying to get the minivan. You know what I mean? Like, all I envision it is my same life with a partner. That's the only way I see it. And if it can't be that, then I don't want it. You know what I mean?
That's deep. I feel that. Okay. Well, we have, like, some questions, and I don't feel like we're going to get to them all.
Your phone about to die.
My phone is also about to die.
How many questions? We can rapid fire these, Jones.
5.
Your
There's
DMs
5.
was popping. Your DMs was popping.
Well, there was more than 5, but these are, like, I feel like the best 5.
Oh, you judging? That's crazy. Shout out to whoever don't get their question answered.
I mean, it's not that the questions were bad. I just felt like these would evoke more conversation.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we could just kind of, like, go through them quick. Give, like, a little 1-2 minute to each one.
We'll see. Go ahead.
All right. So, the first one, how do you get people to support you?
By supporting people. And not being whack. It's that simple, yo.
I would say not worrying about who supports you. And living in the moment. No. And I feel like living in the moment. And, like, when I read that question, it made me think of, like, how some people get really upset when certain people don't support them. I mean, and they don't acknowledge the people that are supporting them. So, for me, like, I'm going to acknowledge the people that are supporting me. I'm not worried about who's not supporting me.
What's support?
Support is a million different things.
Yeah, because...
And people
you ain't coming to my party. It's like, yo, what?
Right, exactly. But
you reposted
if you
the flyer,
reposted it, yeah, if you reposted the flyer, or you said you gave a text before the party and was like, yeah, I hope that party's dope. Yeah. Like, all of those things are support. So it depends on how people perceive support. And I just feel like when you have something, and I mean, I guess I'll just talk from, like, the standpoint of, like, a podcast. When you have something, you have to know that it's going to reach the people that it's going to reach. You know what I mean? I just feel like everybody that listens to it, the person that's supposed to get something from what I put out is going to get it regardless.
The only reason I say, like, I mean, as far as, like, caring about who supports you and who doesn't, like, I'm always considerate of who and what receives my message and how they receive it and who's agreeing with me. You know what I mean? Like, because then it makes me question myself. Like, if any of my theories ever come back to me and a Nazi is like, yeah, that's right, then I'm like, whoa, Cannon. Like, let me reevaluate some stuff. I mean, what I was saying, like, as far as, how do you get people to support you? It's just like, be dope, and it'll happen. And then you support other people. And
even with that, it's like when you're good at something, you'll tell people. But when you're great at something, like, people will speak on your behalf, and those people will seek you out.
All wild, all crazy.
and they'll seek you out. So all you have to do is focus on what you're doing. All you have to do is focus on being the best of whatever it is, and the support's going to come. You just got to focus on your grind. You just got to focus on you and what you're doing and being the best at it and giving your best to it, and it's going to come full circle. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, I like, what she said.
All right, next question. And I think it's so weird how it was, like, asked. But I'm going to say it how it was asked because I'm going to address that in my answer. What are the requirements to get in your group of friends?
Woo! References. References. Yo, for real, first of all, it's tough to stay in my group of friends. Like, I reevaluate that all the time.
People call y'all the good guys.
Nice guys.
The nice guys.
Nice guys. Yeah, I know. Like,
yeah, I know.
No, like, it's something that I always took pride in. I know, like, it occasionally it's a little derogatory. Yeah, I mean.
Like people trying to throw shade.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with being a nice guy.
But it does, like I said, I always took pride in it. Like, that's the way I prefer. That's the way I like to be perceived. As far as, like, how, my man right now, like, one of my homies right now who I talk to about everything, who I talk to every day, there was a time a couple of years ago where I was like, no. Like, the squad was trying to add him to the group chat, and I said, no. I'm never going to be in the group chat with Bull. No, he can't hang with us.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I mean, because he had shared some opinions, and I was just like, no, that ain't it. You can't be around me. And then me and him talked about me and him bonded, like, over Pokemon.
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, all right, yeah, the Bull cool. All right. And we discussed some of the stuff that he was talking about before, and I would say that he's grown a lot since then, to a point where I'm like, yo, I'm proud of you, yo. Like, that's dope.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? So, references, for one thing. Like, anybody that you specifically bring around me, I expect to be a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? And then that...
Wait, what's that mean? Oh, well, I mean, you tell me that all my friends are...
reflections of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, very similar people. Like, shades.
I just feel like they're all so different.
They not, though.
I feel like we're all so different.
They not, though. Like, it's I guess I would say the energy is the same. Like, even if it doesn't get interpreted the same way all the time, but it's definitely like a certain feel where I'm just like, oh, all right, like, I see why they're friends. I can see that immediately.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? And so it's just kind of like, so to get into the group, I guess it's that same kind of thing. Like, what's your energy like? And for real, it's just multiple times and feeling folks out and then being like, oh, all right, cool.
For me, I wouldn't say that I have requirements to be my friend. I feel like that makes it kind of sound like a job. I don't want to be anybody's job or obligation or anything like that. But what I would say are, my friends are all very understanding people. And we can go days or weeks or even months without speaking and come back together, and it'll be like I just talked to him yesterday. I like to maintain very low maintenance friendships, and not because I'm lazy with my friendships, but I just need low maintenance friendships. I can't do like clingy people. I can't do like jealous people that don't want you hanging out with nobody else. I can't do those type of relationships.
Is that what low maintenance means?
For me, that's what low maintenance means. Like, when you need me, I'm there. You call me, I'm there. I may not be present every single day, but if you need me, I'm absolutely positively there. And my friends are the same way. No. So I really don't have requirements, but you do. Like, you gotta have good vibes. My energy is important. I don't play with my energy.
The only reason I say that is because one of the homies called me. He was like, yo, you high maintenance. It's tough being your friend or whatever. And then he proceeded to say, oh, we can't use slurs. Like, this like it was stuff like that. That's what I was thinking about.
Well, that's accountability.
Yeah, I mean.
That's just you wanting them to be better.
Yeah, whatever I think better is. Like, I mean, it's just.
Well, yeah.
But it was just funny at the time. Because sometimes as men, it'd be like, oh, yeah, that's my man. We've been friends since, grade school, but you don't even know dude's favorite color. You've never, it's very, we watch the games together and, all that kind of thing. But, right now, I talk to all my homies about anything that's bothering me.
And that's important.
Yeah, man.
That it's not just, people that you go to the day party with, but also, if you having a rough, day and your mental health just ain't feeling right, you can have that conversation with somebody I'm low, I'm off, whatever. You can feel vulnerable to have that conversation. You can be vulnerable with each other.
I remember, because we used to say I love you all the time.
That's dope. I love that. I love that.
One of the homies' girls was like, "Y'all so gay." It was just like, "Oh, that's
funny.
That's problematic as
well." That is mad problematic,
but all right, yo. That's one of my go-to things. Man, I'm not gonna give you a lecture today.
Yeah,
it's coming.
I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let you know that was mad problematic.
It's the lecture coming.
I'm gonna let it rock.
But I'm not gonna do it today.
Okay, so I'll go to the next question. Hopefully we answered that. I feel like we kind of did. Why do men want women to act like they're in a relationship when they haven't committed, but they act single?
I can't speak for men.
You can speak for yourself.
I don't do that sort of thing. I wish y'all could see my face, and I wish y'all could see Preach's face looking at my face. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what I'll say about it, I'll keep it simple. I can't speak for anybody, but what I'll say is, you teach people how to treat you, and you choose to accept what you want to accept.
You accept the love we think we deserve. If you want to go old school quotes with it.
If you're not okay, listen, everybody got a role to play, and people are going to try to push you in roles, and you have the power to decide what roles you're going to play. And you don't let nobody put you in a role that you're not cool playing.
Hope said play your part. Yo, what was the question? Hold up, read the question to me one more time.
Why do men want women to act like they're in a relationship when they haven't committed, but they act single?
Because some women will let them.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, at the end of the day, people will do whatever you let them. So what Preach said.
Right. Exactly.
I hate speaking. I hate generalizations.
At the end of the day, if you're single, be single. If you're single, act single.
I wish y'all could see the hand gestures. It's
if you're single, act single. That's what I've learned. If you are single, act single. If you're in a relationship, you're in a relationship. You're not married. You're still single.
Full disclosure, I hate men be like and women be like as a rule. Whatever generalizations you want to put on genders, I hate it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it is. But then, at the end of the day, nah, I'm not going to say that. Like I said.
No, say it. How you crazy.
You teach people how to treat you. Don't play a role that you're not comfortable playing. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're not deserving of the relationship that you want, because there's somebody that will give it to you. Don't stay in anything that you don't want to be in, that you're not happy in.
Shout out to if you don't do it, somebody else will. All of them, it's all the same stuff, yo.
Yeah, it all applies.
It's all the same stuff.
It all applies. But don't use it as an ulterior motive either. Don't try to force or coerce anybody into being in a relationship. Because people will do what they want to do. If people are interested, they're going to do what they got to do to lock it down. If they don't, if they're not putting in the work to lock it down, they want to leave it unlocked. So go, be free. Okay.
A lot of finger wagging just now.
Okay, we are conscious about where we spend our black dollars. Ooh. What about where we work?
How do you survive in a white supremacist society when you're a minority? Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it kind of ties into the second question too, so I'll just ask them together. So we're conscious about our where we spend our black dollars. I guess that goes with canceling people that do racist stuff. But what about where we work? And then the other question is, what's your take on being assertive in the workplace as a young person of color?
I have, a lot of my coworkers are racist. A lot of them don't even know that they're racist. They just say racist things. And what I found is that I just don't be going for the shenanigans. We don't have a typical HR. I don't have an office that I can just go and talk to somebody. So I just talk to these men. You know what I mean? And
are they receptive?
We had here go the other thing, right? About receptive. So there are times where I've had conversations about immigration and Black Lives Matter and all these all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It don't matter. Don't none of it matter what I say to these dudes. Like, because what'll happen is that they'll get around each other and it'll fall right back into it. Because now they have somebody to bounce off of.
Right.
That sounds the same.
Mindset.
With the same mindsets, you know.
What is it, a think tank?
Yeah, all of that. So it's like, how do you deal with it? A lot of times I just say enough that I feel good. And then, you know, like I vividly.
That you didn't let it ride?
Like we were I was at work and guys were talking about Colin Kaepernick and I was like, and it was like, what? And I was like, nothing. And man, and then they were still going. I was like, whew. And they were like, what? And it started a 2-hour conversation about, you know what I mean, like basically racial injustice and everything, police brutality, everything. And more recently, I was having a conversation about immigration, and it was the same kind of thing. And it's just like, yo, for real, if you ever get to a point where you can't deal with what's going on at your workplace, I would say roll. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that about jobs in general. Like,
I feel that about anything.
Yeah, like it's not even just a racism thing. It's anything. Like, you ever get to a point where this is someplace that you dread going to, that you don't feel good about going to, for whatever reason, you should be out. Now,
agree wholeheartedly.
I came to the conclusion a while ago, like, if I had to deal with the more bigoted members of the work staff on a daily basis, then I probably would handle things differently. But I work with the same guy all the time, and if he says something off the wall, I kind of check him right then and there.
Y'all had that rapport.
And we had that rapport because it's been that long, you know. And then I pick my spots as to who I discuss things with and when. You know what I mean? Because I've noticed that they'll listen to a certain degree. I think we were talking about before with the Muslim kids with in the school district changing things. And my coworker was just kind of like, man, here we go, bending again to minorities, this, that, and the third.
Whoa.
You know, and I brought up with him the fact that he was Italian, and, you know, they do Lent, where they're not supposed to eat meat. And I'm like, well, what would you have done if you couldn't eat while you were here?
Right.
You know, and so that correlates to these Muslim kids who are doing Ramadan.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it just, and it clicked a little bit. And he said after the fact, he was like, yo, I'm just so glad that, you know, we can have these kinds of conversations. Like, I feel better for it. You know, some people get mad. That's my main thing. Like, when I hear the wildness, I just don't get mad. You know
That's
what I mean?
hard. I mean, I guess you've been there a long time, so it's
White
taken
people
a
crazy,
lot.
man. White people crazy, man.
Yo.
Like, it's really because when I first got there, when I first got to the gig, I immediately understood. I'm like, yo, I'm the only black person these people interact with. Like, they on their one of their peers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they live in predominantly white neighborhoods, and I'm the only young black person that they deal with on a regular basis.
Right.
So, and then it gets to a point.
Is there a pressure with that? Like, you feel
absolutely.
like
Back then, absolutely.
you're the example that they have for all black men everywhere.
Especially black back then. But then I also realized that it gets to a point where you're like, oh, you're just one of the good ones. It gets to that sometimes too.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, I'm not one of the good ones. Like, you know what I mean? So,
right.
So now, especially in our current political climate, when these kinds of things come up, then, like I said, I just say my piece when I deem it necessary with who I feel it's necessary with, and then I'll just kind of go from there. If I'm not in the mood for it, I really just walk away. Like, I'll just be like, all right, I'm out. And I know that everybody doesn't have that option, so I suggest making very good use. Like, assertive was a very good word. Because it's just like, yo, you don't got to stand for none of that.
Right.
Ever. You know what I mean? So just know what your boundaries are and don't let anybody play with them. And just and as far as, like, where you work at, if you feel like, yo, I know, like, it's a bad example, but Pusha T was talking about, like, dealing with Kanye, and then, like, that's my boss or whatever, but I don't feel the way that he does. If it ever bothers your moral conscience to the point where you're like, yo, I can't even work for this person, then it's not on the balance. But if it doesn't bother you that way, if you're like, yo, I'm not going to let nothing affect
between me and my bread.
Between me and my bread, then all right. Now, I know, like, so for some people, like, some of these Cowboys players, I can't say anything. I can't stand. If you feel like you can't stand up for yourself, if you can't express how you truly feel because you're worried about getting your check, that's something different too. But, yeah, I mean, you know, it's tough. It's tough out here, man. It really is. Whatever decision you come to for you, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily judge you. I may not hang with you.
Because you don't hang with villains.
Like, when I hear that, people are like, man, no, I ain't want to mess up my check. You know, I got a family to feed and all this other stuff. Yeah, I hear that.
A lot of checks out here.
I hear that. Like, I hear it. I understand that mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then the other thing is like, if everybody...
And I also understand I don't have a family to feed. I just have me to feed.
If everybody thought that way, we wouldn't have anything.
Word. I mean, my take on it is, so if a workplace is blatantly racist, most workplaces are subtly racist to some avail. So it's just like, what's your breaking point?
They play Biggie at the Christmas party and look at you.
Precisely, those type of situations, or even when it comes to like promotions or special projects and things like that, and just jobs that may not celebrate you and you just feel like you're tolerated there and you're not necessarily seen or heard. Like, those are all issues, and those are all very subtle types of things that could be like racist or whatever. I think everybody has different breaking points, like with everything, you know what I mean, in relationships and everything else. And being at work is technically a relationship. It's a relationship with your job. So if you can't take it, or like you said, you don't feel comfortable, bounce. Don't put yourself in any position where you're uncomfortable. Point blank period. Not even for a check, because there's so many things that are way more important than money. You know what I mean?
So many things.
So many things that are way, way more important than money. And being somewhere where you're uncomfortable, or you feel like you're being, you know what I mean, targeted or anything like that, it's bad for your wellness. It's bad for your mental health. Going in somewhere every day that you dread going, it affects your entire life. It affects your life there and your life at home. Like, you spend most of your time
coming home with the balled up fist face.
Exactly. Like, it alters your mood, period. It alters your life.
Sitting in the parking lot.
Right. Like, you done got to work 2 hours early and end up still being late. Because you don't want to go in that bad. Like, you should never let it get to that point. Like, if you at that point, it's time to find a new job. Point blank, period. Assertiveness, that's a little touchy, because it's like, it depends on who you being assertive with sometimes. And it's like what the situation is that you have to be assertive about. It's like, are you sticking up for somebody else? Are you sticking up for yourself? Are you sticking up for an entire race of people? I mean, it's a lot of layers that go to it. By the end of the day, if something like not sitting right with your spirit, say something. Like, you can be tactful. Like, tact will take you a long way. A conversation and communication in an effective, healthy way, it'll take you a long way. Like, sometimes people just don't know no better. Like, I always say that. Like, a lot of times, like, especially, like, at work or even not at work. Like, sometimes white people, they just don't be knowing what to say. They just say anything. And you'll look at them like, did they just say that to me?
That's why I say you don't get mad.
Yo, did they just say that? This is wild. And you be in your head like, oh, this is wild. And they'll really not know that they did anything wrong.
When I first started, white boy was like, yo, I know you listen to all that boopity boppity bit. And I'm just like, what? All right, yo. Like, I see what, because it was like, he said something. It started with, I know the Beatles are, you know, the best. Never mind, yo. It don't even matter.
Well, yeah. We can wrap it up or whatever. Thank you guys for listening. Tim, thank you for being on the show again. I appreciate you. Whoop, whoop, whoopity, whoop, whoop, whoop. Y'all have a good night. Well, I'm going to edit that out too. Peace. We out.
Yeah.